I bet you've seen one of these before. But have you figured out how to make the best cup of coffee with it? Well, today on Coffee or Die, we're gonna figure out how to do just that. To start, let's get some coffee and we're gonna grind it fresh. This is the best way to make sure you have the best cup every time. Now, I typically recommend somewhere around a 1:16 ratio, but grind here is the most important thing to discuss. Now, people tend to grind coarser because the Chemex has a slower drawdown, but what I say is recommend the same grind size that you use for your conical drippers. Next, let's grab a filter paper. What we're gonna do is take this 3-fold side. Now you'll be able to see when I open this up, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna take that 3-fold side and place it towards the spout. This is especially important because the Chemex is all one piece. So by placing the 3-fold side over the spout, this prevents the filter from slumping into the air valve and causing our filter to stall due to an airlock. One thing to note is that these filter papers are incredibly thick, weighing in around 5 to 7 grams. It really depends on which one you get, natural versus oxygen bleached. But that means that we need to rinse the ever-loving fuck out of them so we don't taste paper in our cups of coffee. While these filter papers work, what I would highly recommend using is the ones from Chemex, which have faster drawdowns due to their porosity. Now let's dump this rinse water. You do not want to forget this when you start brewing your coffee. With the dump water rinsed, I'm going to take something like the shaft of an arrow and put this in the stem. This is just an added precaution against that filter paper creating a complete airlock and stalling the brew. If you do not have an arrow available, use a chopstick, something like that, and just stick it right in there. A good rule of thumb would be to weigh your coffee prior to putting in the grinder and then weigh your coffee after it's done grinding. Why? This is because we want to make sure that the grinder didn't retain any coffee. It's important not to blindly trust your grinder, okay? Don't blindly trust anyone, not even yourself. And I'll pick this up, a little shake to level that bed out. And now we're ready to start brewing. But before we start pouring, do me a favor and like and subscribe to Coffee or Die. This way you can stay in the loop and do your part to raise my self-esteem. So back to the brewing. We've done a little bit of bed prep, we've got our coffee added to the Chemex, and now let's get a good bloom going. I'm gonna add 3 times the amount of water as there is for the bloom. So if we added 32 grams of coffee, we're gonna do 96 mils of water and then wait about 30 seconds. This is gonna allow CO2 to escape prior to us attempting to dissolve available solids in our coffee. Now that we've let our coffee bloom, what I'm gonna do is called the single pour technique. I'm gonna bring the total water to 512 mil, and then I'm gonna let it draw down. What I typically start with is concentric circles, and then I finish my pour with a nice even center pour. Once all the water is added, I like to take a spoon and gently swirl the slurry to prevent coffee from hanging up in the sides of the filter. I do this immediately after I finish my pour. And then once again, when half the water has drained. So one thing I'll say is don't compare your drawdown times to other conical drippers, or you'll get really sad and wonder, what am I doing wrong? Why am I like this? No wonder my wife left me. Instead, expect longer drawdown times, especially if you're using the original Chemex filter papers, okay? This will likely mean your drawdowns aren't finished until about the 5-minute mark, which is not only acceptable, but also morally correct and sanctioned by the state. Once the drawdown's complete, we can go ahead and toss the filter paper in the coffee. Now, as an added bonus, both the natural and oxygen bleach papers are compostable. This means that you can hug a tree while you drink your coffee, knowing that you personally saved the planet. So I am ready to pour a cup, but what I'm gonna do is draw this out a little bit longer. I'm gonna preheat my drinking cup. And then go ahead and dump that preheat water. Now let's pull the arrow out, distribute the solution, and then let's take note of that beautiful pour. Now before I bring this mug to my lips, what I'm gonna do is take a small sample of my cupping spoon and make a noise that I'm sure you guys are gonna really appreciate, and you can leave a comment telling me how much you enjoy hearing it. So the final result is a cup that tastes incredibly clean, but still retains all the clarity in the coffee's characteristics. So now that you know how to make coffee with a Chemex, go out into the world and make fun of people who don't. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will catch you on the next episode of Coffee or Die. Ah, that was a good slurp. Watch out, Hoover. I'm coming for you. I'm the new sucking machine. Fucking stupid. All right.